A sudden wave of high-priority alerts shattered the dawn stillness at defense monitoring hubs throughout the Middle East. Tracking screens flashed crimson. Encrypted data bursts flooded through classified networks. Within moments, intelligence officials from Jerusalem to London were viewing identical satellite proof. American forces had executed a high-stakes kinetic mission targeting the Fordo enrichment site, a facility buried deep within the stony heart of Iran's central mountains. This wasn't merely another routine sortie. It was an explicit assault on the most shielded atomic asset on Earth, signaling a massive pivot in how the White House intends to handle the Persian nuclear deadlock. The installation at Fordo isn't some standard military base. It sits nearly 300 feet below the surface, tunneled into a mountain's core specifically to withstand the heaviest aerial attacks. Iranian technicians constructed it for this exact scenario. The choice to strike, if verified, suggests a new logic: that no amount of diplomatic talking, no layers of economic sanctions, and no endless summits had achieved what a single precision operation now risked. According to high-level defense sources quoted by various news organizations, the mission utilized a pair of B-2 Spirit bombers deploying specialized deep penetration weapons, the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator. This 15-ton behemoth is engineered specifically for this category of reinforced subterranean vault. A military spokesperson noted the attack was green-lit after intelligence suggested Iran had progressed within mere weeks of reaching weapons-grade purity levels. Pentagon insiders claim the strike zeroed in on the centrifuge arrays and cooling systems of the Fordo labyrinth, aiming to delay Iran's technical progress by at least 24 months. Tehran's state-run media provided a response within 60 minutes. Officials there argued the bunker was shielded by advanced missile defenses, and that the actual damage was, in their phrasing, negligible and easily repaired. An Iranian military voice declared that the national atomic project remains functional and that the Republic would retaliate at a moment and location of its choosing. Statements from the supreme leader aired on television characterized the bombardment as a naked act of aggression, not a warning, not a defensive twitch, but a total declaration of hostilities. However, the narrative soon grew much more tangled. Power is not measured by walls, but by the will to breach them. Before we dissect the massive geopolitical fallout of the Fordo raid and what this means for the precarious balance of the Middle East, ensure you tap that like button and subscribe so you never miss the critical stories defining our world. According to security leads in Israel, the mission had been a joint strategic project for many months, with Mossad providing pinpoint targeting coordinates gathered by undercover agents working inside the Iranian border. U.S. outlets reported that the current administration's leadership had informed top congressional figures under the Gang of Eight protocol just 3 days prior, meeting the legal requirements for executive action. The counter-story coming from Tehran, conversely, paints a vastly different picture. Iranian diplomats insist the Fordo site was functioning strictly within the limits set by International Atomic Energy Agency watchdogs when the bombs fell. UN inspectors had been on site less than 2 weeks earlier. Tehran argues that hitting a monitored civilian site is a breach of global law, and that this move effectively kills all future diplomatic paths. European envoys speaking privately mentioned that the raid puts the IAEA in a nearly impossible position, having validated a facility that was subsequently leveled by a permanent member of the Security Council. Between these clashing accounts lies a gritty reality that experts are still trying to map out. What makes Fordo distinct from every other link in Iran's nuclear chain? The secret is its structural necessity. Fordo wasn't built to be the main factory. It was built to be the insurance policy. While the larger Natanz site does the heavy lifting, Fordo exists to maintain momentum if Natanz is wiped out. It houses roughly 3,000 IR-6 machines, sophisticated tech that can process material 10 times faster than older versions. The rock overhead creates a natural shield that most bombs simply cannot crack. Therefore, hitting Fordo sends a specific psychological message. It proves the United States now has both the hardware and the nerve to reach into the untouchable bunkers Iran thought were immune to air power. Observers noted that the impact on Iranian defense strategy is massive if the safest vault can be cracked. No location in Iran's network can now be viewed as secure. The message is undeniable. Safety through isolation is no longer a viable Iranian asset. The ripple effects of the Fordo mission hit various sectors within hours of the initial reports. On the naval front, Revolutionary Guard units in the Strait of Hormuz shifted to a maximum combat stance. 3 groups of fast attack craft moved toward the shipping lanes in a pattern that U.S. commanders described as a setup for maritime interference. Roughly 1/5 of the world's daily oil trade flows through that narrow gap. Any stall there carries a price tag in the billions. Regional capitals reacted with frantic speed. The Saudi Foreign Ministry released a note calling for calm, a neutral text that didn't blame the U.S. nor praise the move. Other Gulf states whispered through back channels that they were kept in the dark. Iraq's leaders, caught between U.S. bases and pro-Iran militias, faced immediate calls to kick out American troops. That friction has weight far beyond the local political cycle. Global markets felt the tremors instantly. Crude oil prices jumped nearly 5%. Defense stocks climbed. Gold and safe haven currencies saw a massive influx of capital. The global economy doesn't wait for a formal war. It reacts to the potential for one, pricing in the nightmare scenario until stability returns. Diplomatic wires glowed white-hot. The Security Council met urgently at Moscow's request. Beijing slammed the strike as a violation of sovereign rights. The EU's top diplomat urged maximum restraint, a phrase that avoids taking sides while signaling pure panic. A single spark in the desert can blind the whole world. At home, the mission split the American political landscape instantly. Many in the opposition supported the move, while others questioned if the president had the legal right to act without a formal vote. The U.S. claims this was a lawful act of preemptive defense against a verified nuclear clock. Iran claims it was an unprovoked war crime. What remains is a confrontation decades in the making, built on a foundation of sanctions, shadow wars, and cyber attacks. The Fordo raid isn't just another chapter, it's a new book. The fragile Middle Eastern peace, already torn by multiple wars, now faces its greatest test. Will this be a localized strike, or the fuse for a global fire? Stay with us as this situation unfolds.